households using Netflix is now exactly the same as people who subscribe to cable. According to a new report from PriceWaterhouseCoopers, 73% of households use Netflix, matching those who pay for cable TV. So fewer people paid for TV this year, while the number of people paying for Netflix rose. So that's what we've kind of seen. We've seen this gap for a while, and they've been encroaching on each other, and now it looks like they finally met. Take this with a grain of salt. This was only a survey of about 2,000 people. Oh. But when you look at how much this has changed over the last couple of years, Susan Elizabeth, it went up 6% for Netflix users, or down 6% for cable people who pay for cable, I should say, in 2 years. That's a big difference.
It is a big difference, and I think that Netflix is always thinking a step ahead. I really do. They're always evolving. They're growing. I mean, remember we used to get our discs in the mail?
Oh, yes.
They have always been upping the game, the technology game. And one thing I think is so interesting right now, they're going for the older viewer, maybe someone who is in their 60s, 70s, 80s, and above, and they're watching shows like The Crown that are kind of catered to. I mean, they're always growing their audience. They figure we have young people, let's get people in an older generation. I mean, I love the way they keep evolving.
And I think one thing to keep in mind is just because we're talking about subscribers and people who pay for cable, that doesn't mean that the number of people who are watching are the same, or the amount of time that's spent. So that's kind of, we rely on Netflix to give us a lot of that data, so we don't exactly know what that is.
Do you believe them? Do you believe Netflix? I mean, here's my thing. We subscribe to Netflix. We have DirecTV, Netflix, and mostly we probably watch over-the-air television the most of anything, the free television.
Well, of course you do. Channel 4.
What more do you need? What more do you need? You can come to my house and see what we're watching. We are pretty much watching this. But any Netflix show, if it were on CBS, would be canceled. Because there wouldn't be enough people watching it.
Yeah.
Which I'm not saying, like, they're critically acclaimed. They're very good shows. We enjoy watching a lot of them. But I think the public conversation is all about these shows. Because the people who are active online, I mean, this is the future, don't get me wrong. And to a certain degree, this is a failing of the cable companies for not inventing Netflix first.
Doing what they're doing.
They should have come up with it.
Absolutely.
But like, these shows are still a very small percentage of the audience.
Sure, but there's a lot of people, though, who you're seeing a lot of like kids, like toddlers, you know, first, second graders, where there are shows that they can just throw the iPad on, and it's not even about watching TV anymore. It's about throwing those on. So that's, of course, very different. We're talking about primetime television.
It's a game changer, right?
Yeah.
And it is a huge victory of technology for Netflix for coming up with it. But like, I'm teaching my kids, like, all you need is right here on free over-the-air television.
You guys are the biggest Wheel of Fortune watchers I've ever met. Because it's that good.
It is.